Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, there's another podcast video with Recon Trooper.
Hey there, it's Recon Trooper here, and if you're watching my version of this podcast, I hope you enjoy the Halo Reach firefight and Dead Island 2 gameplay.
Ooh, now what character are you playing?
You'll have to see, I guess.
Oh, okay, all right. I see how it is. Sounds good.
Couldn't choose, so
Yeah, that's true.
Well, to be honest, I'm playing both of them. I played about half an hour, 20 minutes as Ryan and approximately 20 as Jacob, and then I just meshed it together so it feels seamless when you watch it.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I'll have to look out for it.
It's the zombie combat you want to watch.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not the characters. But anyway, I have some.
You can't even see the characters.
That is true. That's actually maybe a topic we can touch
see
upon.
Their hands when they're all bloody and everything. So.
Yeah, don't remind me. But, alright, so if you guys enjoy this podcast, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to myself and Recon. I'm going to have a link for his channel down in the description. You guys know how it should work by now. So yeah, what are some topics that you have? Let's get going.
Okay, so my first topic was one I had on hold for a while, Spider-Man games. Now,
Ooh.
I said Lego Marvel was your introduction to Marvel. But how about any Spider-Man games before or after that? Any that you've played?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. So oh, what was it? Yeah, so Lego Marvel 1 was my first Marvel thing. And then after that, I started getting into the movies, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and I dig this. And then around 2012, the game came out, but I didn't play it in that year, obviously. I played it, I think, in 2014. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 video game. That movie franchise is, in my opinion, not too bad, but the game, now that I've played Spider-Man PS4, in my opinion, it's pretty garbo. But The Amazing Spider-Man 1 was my introduction into Spider-Man games. And for those of you who don't know, it's basically like open-world Spider-Man, just not really as polished as the PS4 version. And then you've got like Arkham Combat, stuff like that. So, I mean, for when I was playing it, it was pretty darn good, I gotta say.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you played it now.
I haven't played a Spider-Man game since Spider-Man Friend or Foe.
Ooh.
2007.
That's been a minute then.
I don't know. I guess I just never really had the interest with, because for one thing, I think in the Amazing Spider-Man, there's costumes that you have to unlock, and some of them are a real pain trying to get.
Yes.
And
I can confirm.
Especially when it's I think the black suit is in it, and you have to like beat the game on hard or something, or you have to complete all the hard races or whatever, or you have to unlock everything. Or I don't know how it works. I just know it. There's some that are a real pain to get, and I didn't want to be rage quitting all the time trying.
I don't blame you.
To get a stupid costume unlocked, so. I'd rather it be similar to Dying Light, where you can find some costumes all over the following.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
It's a pain finding them and trying to get to them. It's better than having to do a ridiculous thing just to get.
Right. No, I agree. Now, Spider-Man PS4.
I'll never play the story mode on Nightmare mode ever, just to get the Brains costume, because not worth it in my opinion.
Okay, I will take your word on that for sure. The PS4 game is kind of like that. There's a plethora of suits. Yeah. They're not that hard to get. They look pretty friggin' cool. But yeah, I mean, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 game. It didn't have that many suits. It had them, obviously, but it wasn't as like complex as, the PS4 version. But it was a fun game. I played it. That was.
Yeah. I don't have a PS4, so I'll probably never play it.
Okay,
Not a
if you ever do,
PlayStation person.
it's all right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll get a PS5
Which
for
is
my birthday.
kind of sucks though, like Spider-Man is becoming Sony exclusive even though it's really only the movie rights that are Sony exclusive.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I mean, I have a PS4, so I guess
Like
I'm the lucky one. But I like
I might
Xbox.
have gotten Lego. I might have gotten the Marvel's Avengers game if they had added Spider-Man, but lo and behold, Sony has to step in and say, "You use him; he's exclusive to our platforms, no one else."
Oh yeah, I
They
hate
charge
that.
the same price for this for less content. Like if I was those developers, I would stare at Sony right in the face and say, "He's either on all platforms or the Xbox and PC versions are lower priced,
Or he's
or
on
he's
none of the platforms.
limited, yeah, or he's on a limited time thing, or yeah, no platforms.
I say
Um,
put him on the Wii. That'll be
like I
great.
would
Put him on
I
the
would
Wii
try to be
U.
fair, but yeah, the first game I played, I think, was I don't remember. I think it was in the 90s. that
Oh jeez. So that's on
was
what,
b-
like the
that was
PS1
when
or
you
something?
uh
What
I
console?
guess so, or I don't remember. That's just
Say,
it. Just
it's
I just
kind of
know
fuzzy.
it was a game where basically, like in the Lego games where Spider-Man is just like swinging like in the levels, not the open world. Where he's
Yes.
just kind of swinging like one thing after another. Kind of like that's kind of how the game that I played was sort of like. And there was a web thing that actually ran out when you were even web swinging.
Oh wow.
Um, and I think it must have been for the PlayStation because Xbox didn't exist yet. And
Oh yeah.
I don't I don't think I tried it on the PC, so it must have been the PlayStation.
Okay.
But
Makes sense.
yeah, and then I played the movie games, and I have to say, of all the movie games, uh, there's pros and cons for all of them. In Spider-Man 1, it's the same idea as that game I just described where there's no open world, it's just level after level. And he does the same swinging animation. The web doesn't go down when he swings, just when you use like a web ball or whatever.
Okay.
Um, but you can also play as the Green Goblin, and
Hmm.
it's not the exact Green Goblin. It's just the suit, but it's actually I think it's supposed to be Harry in the Goblin outfit.
Oh, are you
But
talking the Tobey Maguire movies like Spider-Man 3?
yeah, well,
Oh, okay. I
Spider-Man
got you.
3, yeah, but Spider-Man 1, you play as the Green Goblin, and he has all the tricks that the Goblin has. He throws pumpkin bombs, he rides a glider instead of web swing, obviously.
Yeah.
And he also has on his glider, he has like a machine gun type attack,
It's cool.
and but it's Harry. It's not Norman that you're playing as. It's Harry that's trying to. It's the way they do it with the story. It's kind of dialed a little less stretched compared to Spider-Man, where there's only like a handful of cutscenes, and I
Oh,
think Harry is trying to like figure out his dad's secrets or something. And he comes
huh.
across another Green Goblin that is essentially the same Green Goblin you have to fight when you're Spider-Man, like in the same levels. Um,
That's
but he's
crazy.
also he's also got a different voice. He's not Norman because Norman is obviously dead.
Spoiler
But
alert.
yeah, this isn't 2023. This is 2001 now.
Yeah, the
So
heck.
keep your ears open. But yeah, and then Spider-Man 2 I like because it was the first time I'd actually played Spider-Man in an open world, and the web
Right.
swinging was really cool because you could do everything, pretty much everything like in the movies. You could do like when he shoots a web in the Maguire movies, and he kind of does a swirl like around a pole or something.
Yeah, yeah.
does a loop de loop right around, and then he goes flying into the air after that. You can do that. You can shoot two webs and sort of slingshot your way through the city,
Wow.
and it was really cool. The only bummer about that is I was expecting you to be able to sort of like in Spider-Man 1 where you could play as the Goblin. I was hoping you could play as Doc Ock, but of course you
That would
can't.
have been cool.
You can only fight him in the story, and then there's a warehouse arcade mode where you can fight him just wandering around the warehouse as kind of like a boss arcade thing where you have four bosses you have to fight at once.
Jeez, it
Yeah.
sounds like a very advanced game for
Yeah.
being pretty old.
But and then there's Ultimate Spider-Man I played. And you could play as Venom in that one. Um, it's very cartoony looking. It's not live action based at all.
Okay.
Um, so it kind of looks like a three-dimensional image that was sort of Pascaled over all the
All right,
time.
I got you.
And
At least it's
Venom is
unique.
yeah, but Venom you can play as, and he's pretty cool. The downside being though that his health goes down over time, so you constantly have to feed off people.
Oh,
And it's a real pain when you're trying to find somebody and you're also getting shot at and all that by enemies, and you're just like, "Where's the darn health already?
yeah.
where's
No,
the
trust me. If
where's my
you mentioned
meal?"
that, I'm playing Elden Ring right now, and oh boy, I wish there was health right now. So yeah, I know the feeling,
Yeah,
especially in like a superhero game.
yeah. So, and then Spider-Man 3, and what's cool about that is it's like Spider-Man 2 with the open world,
Mhm.
but you get the black suit, obviously, because it's Spider-Man 3. And you also can play as Harry Osborn's new Goblin.
Ooh.
Um, can't get off the glider, so he's always flying on the glider. But
Okay.
and his combat is very limited compared to Spider-Man, where he actually has like unique combos and stuff. Harry is kind of he has combos, but they're all pretty much the same animations every time. Um, but he's pretty cool to be able to fly around the city, on his
Well,
glider
yeah.
slash snowboard or whatever it's called.
Whatever was going on there.
So yeah,
Now, which
and
is your
then there's
favorite if you had to pick?
uh
Because I mean, the way you're describing them, they genuinely sound cool. Like I haven't played them,
yeah,
but I
they
want to
are
play them now.
cool. Yeah, I mean, as long as you can get past the obvious graphics level at the time,
Right.
um, because obviously they don't look anything like they would now. Um,
No. But I mean, that comes
yeah,
with the territory.
yeah.
You gotta
I
expect
mean,
that.
like it's just like Raiders of the Lost Ark compared to Isle of Destiny. The obviously the tech is advanced more, so things can seem even more seamless in CG and stuff.
Yeah, more real. Speaking, I know
Yeah.
we'll probably talk about this, but did you end up seeing that Dial of Destiny?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
That's why I wanted to podcast today while it was still fresh in my mind. We'll
That's
do it
awesome.
at
All
the
right.
end when and people can have a chance to get away from spoilers, because if we do in the middle, they won't know when the spoiler thing ends and they can continue listening safely.
Right. Well, how about this? Let's do one in the middle, and just I want to hear your review without spoilers. Just your overall thoughts, how well it was made, that kind of thing, and then we can do spoilers like you said toward the end. I think that'll be cool.
Yeah, we can do that, I suppose. But one last Spider-Man thing before we
Hmm.
do that, though. Um, and yeah, like I said, the last game I played was Spider-Man Friend or Foe, and it basically takes all the movie designs of the three Spider-Mans, like the Maguire series, and it kind of creates almost looks like a cartoon, but
Okay.
like imagine a PS1 game's graphics on an Xbox or PS2's generation at the time, or when 360 was just coming out too.
Oh yeah,
And
right on the cusp of that then.
so yeah, just kind of imagine PS1 graphics during a Xbox 360 um kind of level,
Hmm.
like generation.
I don't want to.
And it kind of looks like that, but it's a pretty fun game. I mean, it's very simple cuz it's like a Lego game in the past where the only attack button is X
Okay.
for Xbox. And it's I think zero the circle for or square for PS PlayStation, but yeah, it's got, all the movie villains in it, Venom,
Mm.
well, not Carnage unless you have a PlayStation Portable.
Oh,
Um,
they always get you.
yeah.
They
Well,
always find a way.
the PSP version has both Carnage and Electro, but
Ooh.
it's got Venom, Sandman, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, New Goblin. Then there's some others that are strictly from cartoons like Rhino and Scorpion
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Lizard. And it's kind of weird though, because the black suit Spider Man and Venom, when you're in a dark area, it looks more blue than black. It looks literally like a scuba suit color,
Yeah.
as opposed to the symbiote black that you'd even for a game of that level of graphics. it's
Yeah, you would think it would look a little more
It
uh
only looks black when you're doing the Egyptian levels in the outside when it's nice and sunny and sandy. That's when it looks more black, but
that's strange. I
otherwise,
mean, it's an old
yeah.
game.
Yeah. It's an old game. It's a simple game, only 12 achievements.
Wow. That's like SpongeBob
And
game achievements.
yeah. And they're really just like completing levels, getting all the upgrades for characters in Spider-Man,
Hmm.
and that's about it. Like there's nothing beating a level in co-op or anything. There's no Xbox Live to it. So it's like a Lego game. It's just two-player couch co-op.
Okay.
There's an arena you can fight each other in, but of course the characters are very limited to what they can do because you know it's just
Yeah.
it's a very limited game, but it has its moments of fun
Okay.
until you get bored of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
All those games you described, though, I mean, like I said, I've only played Amazing Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man PS4. I don't know if the Lego games count, but all those games you're describing, it sound pretty flippin' fun.
yeah, they were, and my original Xbox still runs, so maybe someday I'll play Spider-Man 1 again just for the heck of it, because the goons are kind of fun to fight, because during the part where you're searching for Uncle Ben's killer, there's all these guys called the Skulls Gang, and you have to
Okay.
fight a bunch of them before you finally get to Ennis Carradine, or as he's called in the game, Carjacker.
RJ, that's his legal first name.
Yeah. Um,
Carjacker McGee.
and yeah, they're kind of funny. Like some of them say circus in town. Hey, you. They have this kind of gang affiliation sort of accent to them.
Yeah. Like Arkham.
And
Like every
just be
every
care
Arkham thug is like, it's the bat. They all sound like
yeah.
from their New York.
Just be careful not to get caught by the guys with the guns because they're a pain. But otherwise, they're then when they get knocked out, they go ah, like a clone trooper's voice that's a little lower pitched
Okay.
when he dies.
That's funny.
But but
My
anyway,
goodness.
on to Wild Destiny non-spoiler review.
Yes, yeah. So what did you think
Okay.
about it? Where does it rank? What's your favorite, least favorite, that kind of thing?
Well, don't want to bash it too hard, but were some things that I kind of was disappointed in.
Okay.
Um, one thing I will spoil because it's not a big deal. They break the tradition of the Paramount logo.
Yes, yeah. That is disappointing. I'll agree with you on that.
Like I was expecting something, and then it just goes to a black screen, and then what happens next happens, and it's like, what the heck is your problem, James Mangold? Are you really trying? Were you really trying to get it that different from the others, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I honestly, like, for me, I was, yes, very
It's the
disappointed then.
last one that he has to do that on.
I know.
Couldn't have done that with Raiders first, and then thought it would be cool if we tried this instead for the next four. You know.
If only. But as soon as that scene ended, all my worries like left. I mean, I genuinely
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I think if you've seen my review for everyone listening, my only negatives were the CGI. I think there's a few instances where young Indy looks a little
Yeah.
wonky, his lips don't move, and then there's two scenes with old Indy where he's falling down a bookcase, and then what else? When he's on the horse for like one scene during that parade. But other than that, I really didn't have that many issues.
Yeah. Well, felt there were two. Well, my dad felt this too because I took my parents to see it with me, and my dad felt there were too many chase scenes in it, and especially the first one. On that, I don't know what you would call that thing. It's kind of a cross between a taxi and a motorcycle.
Oh, it's a tuk tuk in Morocco, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That scene kind of felt a little long because it's not like the one in Crystal Skull where Indy actually gets pulled into a car at one point and then has to punch a couple of thugs and then get back onto the Mutt's motorcycle.
Yeah, I love that.
It's like there's barely really any action. It's more just chase, chase, chase the whole time
Right.
throughout that one sequence. And I mean, yeah, there's Indy's switching between cars and stuff, but you'd expect him to at least hit one thug off of a vehicle or something.
Yeah. No, you bring up a good point. I
But
mean, I think the sequence is fun, but yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot of chasing and whatever. But if that's
yeah,
your
and
only complaint, I mean, it's
well, there's a few, but some of them are gonna have to wait for the spoilers because
oh, right,
I would have to get specific about them.
that's true.
Um, Another one I actually did notice too was they seem to deviate from the traditional Indiana Jones sound effects. As I didn't hear the traditional punching sounds like in the other four. Sounded more like act. It sounded more like a Marvel films punching instead of Indiana Jones punching.
I think there was a few of them, right? I noticed one or two of the classic.
Oh,
Maybe not every
I don't
one,
know.
but
Maybe they just dialed down the volume of it or something like in the movie, not in the
yeah,
theater. But I don't know. But it was okay. I mean, it's. I'm still gonna get it on Blu-ray when it comes out because I
well,
mean
me too.
I made sure to watch the first four before I saw it. So
Me too.
I watched Temple of Doom on um, Sunday because I'm going in chronological, not release. Temple of Doom, then Raiders and Last Crusade Tuesday, on Monday, and then Tuesday Skull, then finally Dial of Destiny Wednesday, and can't
That's
really
awesome.
say. I think Temple of Doom is my favorite. I mean, I don't care if people call it racist or whatever. I just like it because it's not anything to do with any of the wars. It's a completely unique enemy that he fights. It's
Hmm.
not any sort of warring faction of any kind. It's a cult, you know not a faction. It's a cult that he
Yeah.
fights, and you know, despite what people think, I think that when I was watching Temple of Doom, I was actually laughing a few times at Willie when she was screaming, like
Yeah. No, she's
the
funny.
part the part when that guy gets his heart ripped out. I wasn't laughing at that, but the second after when it cuts to the three characters and you see Willie go behind the corner and scream, I was like,
Yeah. She's like, oh
I
heck no.
it's like, are you nuts? Are you nuts? You're right above a whole congregation will you idiot. You don't
I know,
just go
yeah.
screaming just because of something terrifying unless you want to get caught, you know.
I'd probably scream like a little girl too, though. Honestly, if I
But
saw that, but
yeah, but so yeah, Temple of Doom would be my favorite.
okay.
And I like Crystal Skull a lot, but it would probably have to be my fourth because I like Last Crusade probably second because I like the music in that one for one thing, and also some of the drama between Indy and his father, and then at the end, when that touching scene when his father saves him from falling and he calls him by his legal name. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say real name because
After the
it's
dog.
his real name. Um, but I think it's just it may not be have the same amount of action as the other two, but it kind of makes up for it with the kind of character chemistry and stuff. And not to mention, I mean, it does have a tank sequence, so that sort of makes up for it, I
You
guess.
gotta love the tank. Yeah.
But yeah, but Dial of Destiny. I'm not gonna say fifth place, but kind of 4.5 place.
Okay.
Just because it feels the less action oriented than all five of them.
Right. I mean, it makes sense. He's only
Like I
80,
said,
but
it's more chase than action. It seems a lot of the
right.
time. Most of the action seems to be at the very beginning, but everything else seems to just be this big chase, and they chase for a bit, then they get captured or whatever, then they chase again, kind of thing. It's like,
Mhm.
why can't they? And Indy didn't have a one-on-one fight like he usually does. You know,
No. Yeah, that's true.
I was kind of waiting to see which of the thugs would end up having that kind of fight with finally, but it never happens. It seems
Yeah.
one guy meets his demise in a very wet way, and the other in a very fiery way.
Yes. Good way to put it, without spoiling it.
You know, and neither of them are directly from Indiana Jones. It's a different character that does that. To them.
But
So
I don't know. I had fun with it. I think it's probably
yeah,
my second favorite.
yeah. I'm not against it. It just I just think James Mangold should have done more with it than he did, and
Yeah.
it's not because of timing or something. It's because of just decisions he made for some reason. You know. Also,
Yeah.
not
There are a
entirely.
few. There's
Also,
a few
kind of
wonky
conflicted
things.
about the dial because usually it's an actual artifact where this thing is more of a mechanism thing that everybody's after. It kind of seemed weird that the thing of the MacGuffin of the movie is a device instead of an artifact.
It's funny you mentioned that because the Dial of Destiny isn't, I don't want to say it's real, but it's actually based on like a real dial that someone made. I mean, it's a real object. A lot of people
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, it's just some made up crap that this." But no, like if you look it up online, like there's a thing like that. Now, here's my question: is there a crystal skull? Because I guess the FBI confirmed aliens are real, but I mean, in terms of
Well,
like, is that a real
well,
thing?
if you watch the special features of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, usually there's one featurette that talks about making the Crystal Skull in the movie, but
Okay.
at the beginning, Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford actually mentioned they've seen some in museums and stuff. Then they say the biggest mystery is how they were made, and that's
Hmm. That's cool.
so. So
Because I
I'm
hate when
assuming there
people.
are.
Yeah, yeah. We're
If
assuming.
they're
I'm
in
taking.
museums, if they're in
Okay.
museums, then they must be real in some way.
Yeah, I'll have
Some
to.
glass blower just got bored one day and is like, "I'll make a crystal skull out of glass and then paint it to make it look like crystal or whatever."
Yeah, and then Steven Spielberg went to the museum and was like, "Hey, make a movie on that." Actually. Why
You
not?
know, I think it's cool because it gives a new sort of item to the genre to the franchise, and you know,
I think the hate is way overblown. I mean, one of the things we'll talk about this quickly. I think one of the things I
yeah,
hate about the franchise isn't something that's in it. It's the idiots on the internet who think they know what's up. Just like Star Wars, you get these people. They're like, "Oh,
yeah,
Dial of Destiny," without spoiling it. They're like, especially Crystal Skull. But they're like, "Dial of Destiny is too, it's too, crazy. That's not real. It wouldn't happen." It's like, dude, the first movie had now, regardless if you're Catholic, Christian, whatever. The first movie had the Ark of the Covenant, where a ghost came off and melted your face. The second had stones. The third had the invincible juice. The fourth had aliens, and this one's got time fissures, as they say in the trailer. So I
yeah.
genuinely, I never understood where people are like, "Oh, Indiana Jones in the fridge in Crystal Skull, that's too far," or Mutt swinging on a vine. No, it's not. Like they've
Or
never.
or
That's the point.
people eating bugs and brains in the Temple of
Yeah.
Doom. Like
Like Indiana Jones has
people call
always
it
been crazy.
racist, and yet it's just a movie. Like
Yeah.
the makers weren't trying to provoke anybody. They were just trying to make a movie that
Yeah, it
is
was a
actually
joke.
quite interesting if you just put your head on straight first, and then watch it through the lens of an audience and not just some racist seeker.
Yeah, right. It's like some of these people they have their mindset made before they even see the
But
movie.
yeah, but like I mean, I knew Phoebe Waller-Bridge was gonna be a big part of this one, and so I wasn't expecting, like her to be, I wasn't not expecting her to be such a big part of it when I saw it.
Hmm.
Um,
She's
I
a pretty
mean, she's
important
kind
sidekick.
of yeah, she's also kind of dare I say, slightly misguided at first.
Yes, very much so.
As
Yeah.
not gonna be specific until the end, as we keep saying over and over. But she kind of smiles when somebody dies, not smiling at them, but smiling that it was a fun event they just didn't went through.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
And it's like, but somebody died. Don't you understand that
Yeah.
already?
Yeah, well, it's funny you
Are you
mentioned that.
still 12 years old that you don't understand what death does to the people who care about them?
Yeah, you idiot. But it's funny you mentioned that because one of the things I was worried about going into this movie is that, oh my god, it's going to be a woke disaster. Or, oh, it's, everyone
I
said,
wasn't.
okay, good. Because you shouldn't have,
This is
because it
one
wasn't.
thing.
It's
This is
not
one
woke
thing
for
I was
everyone.
kind
You
of
know.
yeah. Wasn't expecting it to be woke. I was just I don't know what I was really expecting. Just I was expecting it to be good, and wasn't expecting it to have so many chases in it. Just
Mm,
I was hoping it would be kind of a combination of Crystal Skull with Indy's age problem, or solution, if you want to call it.
it's a
Um,
problem.
Indy Indy's age mixed with Last Crusade's sort of amount of action, but
Yes.
it seems like they took chases from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and amplified that more and lessened the action to be mostly just kind of in the beginning portion of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think that's really also
But
due to Harrison's age. I mean, he's 80 something, and if you guys go on YouTube and you watch like the behind the scenes stuff, you'd be surprised, man.
yeah,
I mean, he's doing a lot of that shit. I mean, he's not like in front of a friggin' train, but he's really on a horse, or he's really punching a guy, or he's really whipping.
yeah,
They kind of hide it a little bit by him like jumping from tuk tuk to tuk tuk with um, CGI or whatever, motion blur. But it looks real, and he's doing a lot of it, which is really commendable. But I think honestly the
yeah.
reason why there's not a whole lot of action is just mainly because he's so old. But I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, what do you do? I mean, like, what do you do when you make another indie movie and he's almost 90? Like you gotta take some measures.
Well, Oda was how old when he fought Dooku in episode 2?
That's true. That is true.
Oh, take a cue before you know.
Is indie force
But
sensitive though?
Well,
People go, "Oh, Indiana Jones was a carbonite dream from Han in Episode
just
Five." Like,
keep in mind, Indiana Jones happened a long time ago too.
that's true in this galaxy.
So to speak.
Yeah,
I
that's a good
mean,
point. I'll give you that.
people had to make him first, later than the days in the actual movie, but it still takes place a long time ago.
Yeah, it's true. Now I'm gonna drop a.
Even 1969 takes place a long time ago from now. So
That's true. Now I'm gonna place a
as
bomb. You
opposed to
ready
if
to
it
hear
was
this bomb?
2000. Or
I was talking to Echo Killshot, and I was watching Temple of Doom a little bit before I saw Dial, and he was like, "Oh yeah, enjoy Temple of Doom." I said, "Yeah, it's a pretty good sequel," and he's like, "No, it's not a sequel," and I said, "What?" Yeah, it's a sequel. What are you stupid? He said, "No, Temple of Doom canonically, chronologically, in the timeline,
yeah,
it's actually a prequel, which I didn't know about. It takes place a year
yeah,
before Raiders."
yeah. I kind of when learned that a long time ago, I was kind of confused, but now I kind of watch it that order, and it sort of makes sense. I mean, you watch Raiders and Last Crusade back to back, and it's just Nazis, and it's kind of, I mean, there's a 2 year difference between the films, like in the films, not literally, but
Right.
but it's kind of, you know,
I just never
kind
knew
of
that.
makes more sense now. It makes more sense now watching it in that order.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still
But
always gonna watch Raiders first, but I mean, just I never knew that, and he was like, "Yeah, it's a prequel." I'm like, that kind of blew my mind a
yeah,
bit.
but yeah, but Temple of Doom is still my favorite, just because just because of how different it is from the others, where it's, like I say, it's not anything to do with World War II. It's completely elsewhere in the world,
Hmm.
and the enemy he fights, shoot me if you don't like it, but the enemy he fights is a cult, and it's we never really see him fight people like that any ever afterwards.
No.
It's always Nazis, or in a one-time thing with Russians. It's
Right.
not just something to
Are you still a
add,
Nazi?
not just something to add more fiction to the franchise, instead of pulling historical things. Like, it still is based in history. Like, there is, I think, a thing. I think Kali is a thing, if I'm not mistaken. But
Now, are the stones a thing, or
I don't, I don't know.
because every other
It
thing
must
is a real thing?
must be in some way. I mean,
Huh.
they obviously turn it to fit the story, but
True. Yeah.
it's got to be based on something real. Like, maybe they just changed the name of it, and there's actual stones that have a different name out there, that are based in myth and legend or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
But
Well, someone in the comments tell me if this is real, because your boy here wants to know.
yeah, but anyway, so my next topic was Dead Island 2. Now, when was the last time you played?
Oh boy. Um, Put me on a
When
spot
you
here.
got it?
No, 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 no. Probably 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Why did they
I
update it?
I've been Well, they did, but I'm just because I've been playing it lately again. I just kind of wanted to start playing it again, and I've been playing Dying Light as well, and it's been kind of tricky trying to go back and forth between the two zombie games, and then try to readjust to the controls again for each
Oh, I
one,
know.
because
Well, because
jump
one's
for
game's
da- jump for Dying Light is throw a curveball in Dead Island 2, and I keep
yeah,
pressing the jump button in Dead Island 2 and keep throwing a darn grenade in my face,
yeah. You're telling me.
instead of
I hate
jumping
that.
jumping onto it. And then in Dying Light, I'm trying to jump like in Dead Island 2, but I'm doing the survivor sense. I'm like, no, you're supposed to jump over the zombie, not survivor sense him.
Yeah, yeah.
That does nothing.
Crazy game. What are you doing?
Then I also, because the weapon changing button is the Y button. I
Mm.
press and hold that to try to bring up the wheel, and instead I waste a repair on a weapon trying
Oh,
to
that's the
see how much
worst.
trying to see how much more damage it needs before I have to fully repair it. And it's kind of like, oh, I just wasted a repair, just and
Yeah, you're telling
it's
me.
just
I hate when that happens. Like when I'll play Call
but
of Duty for a week, and then I'll go do something else. Or I'm sorry, I'll play a Lego game for a week, and then I'll play COD, and I suck at it, and I'm like, man, what am I doing? It's kind of like that. But
yeah. Well, COD and Lego isn't as quite a comparison to the just zombie games because
that's true.
Dead Island and Dying Light are very much similar but very different because you feel like you're playing the same game but the controls have been swapped around on you.
Yeah, it feels like someone messed with the settings when you were sleeping.
Whereas Lego and Call of Duty, you're playing a different game. It doesn't feel like the same game.
Yeah, that's true.
But you still have to adjust to the controls, especially if one you haven't played in a while and the other is what you've been playing nonstop for a month.
Yeah, I know.
But
Thankfully, most
but
video games controls are pretty similar now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, but back in the day, I mean, when I talked to my uncle, he's like, "Oh my god, all this new stuff, it's just too nuts."
yeah. But but yeah, I was playing Dead Island yesterday, and I was or was it yesterday or the day before, and I was playing in the what's it called, the movie area in our
Mm-hmm.
studios, and I was playing at night because I usually play it during the day. 'Cause my TV screen for some reason is darker than it should be.
Okay.
Um, and so I have to play it in a lighting setting that I can see it better. But I was trying to play it at nighttime, and then I go into that. It kind of feels like a native kind of catacomb sort of area,
Yes. Yep.
and
Okay, I remember. Yep.
yeah, and there's these guys that some of them have like blue paint on them or whatever, and that's where butchers like to spawn a lot.
Oh god, I get PTSD of the butchers.
Yeah, and I was fighting them, trying to fight them, and my weapons, weren't the best equipped to handle them, and I ended up having to use um med all five of my little med kits
Oh.
up, and fortunately my rage regenerated in time that I could trigger it and kill them. But something I miss in Dying Light, though, is now that I've been playing Dead Island 2 is the rage, especially when you get swarmed by a bunch of guys and you just, where's my rage?
It's very
you know,
helpful.
like just
It
let me
makes me
turn
rage
into
when I
this.
can't use it.
I know, like I've been getting swarmed like crazy by virals almost everywhere I go. When like I sometimes I purposely try to get them to spawn just so I can, talk smack to them and kill them.
Yeah.
But
How do you like it?
you know, but when they just are constantly spawning and especially when you're trying to do something like lockpick, or you're trying to aim a gun at a zombie that's just below you and all of a sudden you get hit from the side by this viral that suddenly is there, and and it's just annoying as heck.
Yeah, it can feel a
And then
little cheap.
suddenly on your radar, you see, like six more red arrows coming towards you.
That's
You
when
just
you run like heck.
want to get raged on, and then just give them a taste of their own bloody, literally medicine.
Ooh, I like it. I like that we're doing puns. I like it. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because as I told you, I'm working on Elden Ring again, not only for YouTube
Yeah,
but just for fun. And it's a hard video game. Like that's an understatement. It's a friggin'
yeah. You
masterpiece, but it's difficult. And
told me
it
not to
took me.
play it.
I told you not to play it.
Yeah, in a couple of podcasts ago, you
Oh,
said my advice is to not play it or
oh.
something because it's so darn hard.
Okay, well, my advice is to play it because one
Okay.
specific reason I changed my mind. Basically, what's funny is that I've run 190 hours in my first playthrough since I've got it. I'm not, it's not like in a week. But in the scope of that, I was like, there's something that happens in the game that I didn't like. So I'm actually
Yeah.
right now doing New Game Plus or Journey number 2, and it's cool because it keeps your level. So what
Yeah.
level am I? I'm level 190, and it's
It's
cool
like
because
in
the
Dead
bosses that
Island
killed me,
1.
right? The bosses that killed me in Elden Ring, my first playthrough, I can get them now in like 5 or 6 hits. I'm not dying
Yeah.
800 times in a row,
Uh-huh.
so that's cool.
If you're listening, Echo, make sure to beat the game now so you can go back and play it and it can be easier.
I know you're not kidding. Like, dude, I literally at the time of recording this, I don't have my Elden Ring video up, but I just recorded a few days ago me killing Margit. The boss Echo couldn't do. And Echo, I'm not saying you're bad. You're not. But watch my video for anyone struggling, because I got him in less than 20 minutes, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
it's fun. It is difficult, and it makes me rage. I swear to God, I will be raging during my walkthrough. But it's fun when you do it and you win. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, it's when you win, not
Yeah.
until then, you know, get your get your rage quit bottle out and put a piece of paper in every time you rage quit.
Yes. You got it. You got it.
Got keep 50 jars on the table by the time you're finally beat it, and each one contains however many fit in them.
Yeah. Well, I'll be rich by the time I do that, but
Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, that was the one he couldn't beat. You said because you said there's two bosses kind of back to back first time.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
And there's no checkpoint between them.
Well, the
So
thing with Elden Ring is that so take
you
Margit, right? The boss
die.
he's
Yeah.
stuck on. Well, yeah, so like there's they're called grace sites, and you go by a grace site and then you walk like, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet, and then you fight the boss. When you die, you
Yeah.
just go right back to the grace, which is like a few feet away. But no, like there are some bosses in this game where, to put it mildly, it'll take you 20 minutes to kill the first boss or the first
Yeah.
phase, and then there's a second phase. But your progress doesn't save. So if you die during the second phase, you have to do it all from the beginning.
Yeah. That can be a
It took me
yeah.
literally, I'm not even kidding.
Forget rage quit. Just smash the TV.
Yeah, I was near that point. I'm not gonna lie. The final boss.
And smash it again just for good measure.
Yeah, right, exactly. The final boss of the game though took me probably about a week to kill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And thank God, because Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga was coming out the day I killed the boss, so I was like, going from Elden Ring to Lego Star Wars was like a dream come true.
Yeah. Get take a break and do something easier.
Exactly.
Well, can't say there's anything easier. I mean, there's things in Dead Island 2 that aren't in Dying Light that I like, and then there's vice versa. And I always get frustrated when I can't do what I can in the other one. And
Uh-huh.
I can't rage in Dying Light, and I can't counter attack or block like in Dead Island 2. And
Yeah.
I also can't find there's no workbenches in Dying Light like there is in Dead Island 2, and
The
you have
workbenches
limited
are handy.
repairs. Yeah, and but the enemies in Dead Island 2 are harder to
Whatever it's
kill than
called.
in Dying Light. You know, 'cause in
It's
Dying
like
Light I can kill most zombies with one hit, as long as they're not those dodgy little annoying virals.
oh yeah, you're
And
telling me.
I could just one hit kill them pretty for the most part almost all the time. With my melee weapons, and it's just one shot to the head with a gun of some sort.
See,
And on
that's
the
one thing.
goons.
That's one thing I don't like about Dying Light 2 is that, as at least as of right now, there's no guns.
Yeah.
Which it is what it is. But I mean, After playing,
Oh,
especially Dead Island 2 has some pretty good gunplay, I think. I know a lot of people online don't like the gunplay in Dead Island 2, but I do. Um,
well,
maybe one day they'll update it. I don't know.
there are problems with it, I admit, because sometimes like when you're aiming ADSing with a shotgun, you're not looking it's not like a Call of Duty perspective. It's more like you're looking just above the iron sight, looking down the barrel kind of thing.
Mhm.
So you kind of have to aim the tip of the barrel instead instead of the actual iron sight, and it's kind of annoying because you feel like you've got it locked on, and then you shoot and you realize it's off course a little.
That's why
And
I usually hip fire most of the guns.
yeah, well, I try to ADS because I like there's that one rifle that looks like a sniper rifle,
Uh
and
huh.
I like using that thing. But the problem is after the first shot, the scope starts moving around the screen a lot, and it's hard to get a second shot accurately.
It's those little things. It's weird because you would think they would get that right because people have been doing FPS games since what, the dawn of time. I mean, you'd think they would. It just seems like a
Yeah.
weird thing they at
It's
least
like
haven't fixed yet.
you shoot once and then what? All of a sudden you lose your balance the rest of the time until you exit ADS and then you get your balance back.
Yeah, they're like, oh well, actually your character tripped.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
'Cause guns have massive blowback, right? No.
Yeah, yeah, it's recoil, stupid.
But but yeah, I'm looking forward. I don't know if you got it, but I got some DLC things from that was recently released. It's just costumes and weapons, but some of the weapons look pretty cool.
I
There's
think I
one
did get
that
that. What were they?
oh you did. Uh, well, there was DLC. There were costumes that you should have gotten from pre-order. Well, not pre-order, but the
Well, I got
LA
the Hell A
edition.
edition.
Yeah, there's a costume for Jacob and I think it's Amy.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Um,
I got them. Amy got the
yeah,
katana weapons, and then what's her face got, or Jacob got the. They look like shurikens, kind
the
of.
yeah they kind of are. They're called the Devil's Horseshoes or something.
Yes, that's it. Yep. I haven't used
And
them. I don't. How do you access them, by the way?
there's that one guy in the Ocean Avenue Hotel,
Okay.
and that you buy stuff from. He's basically the majority of the DLC weapons and stuff that you get in the game.
Gotcha.
Like, there's only two characters that also have them, but they're not as high level. Like, there's a guy at the beginning that has the Banaway baseball bat and the Banaway War Club. Yeah, but they're always the green level. So
Oh,
they're only good for so long before you get to the blue and eventually the purple level
right.
weapons. And then there's another guy on Venice Beach. He's in the I don't know what you call it, the crab restaurant or whatever. Um,
Yes. Okay, I know. Yeah.
yeah, and he's got a red. He gives you a red katana called Red's Demise, but
I have that actually.
it's blue level.
That's awesome. The katanas
And
in any game I get, katanas are my go-to, man. They're freaking awesome.
yeah,
Katanas are
I don't
sick.
mind. I wouldn't mind using it. It's just blue level, and I have a bunch of purple now. Um, purple's kind of the highest you can get to in this Dead Island too, because there's no orange or gold ones
Yeah.
except the legendaries, which you only can get through specific thing events. And it's not, in Dead Island 1, they actually have orange and gold, tiered weapons,
Okay.
and as in Dead Island 1, you have things like wicked metal baseball bat, or destructive, crowbar or whatever. And then when you get the gold ones, then it's just crowbar, metal baseball bat. Like, they get rid of that extra part to the name.
Hmm.
and you can add, you know, they do the highest amount of damage, obviously. So
You would hope.
you always want to try to get the gold ones when you can. So, but yeah, but I got the and yeah, the guy in Ocean Avenue is where you get the majority of the everything else.
Okay.
Um,
I'll have to stop by
the
there.
storage locker is where you can change the outfit. Um,
Okay. I don't get that because
there's
it's first person. How do you see it?
well, I don't know.
Because the mirrors don't work, right? Like if you look in a mirror, it's not like you'll see yourself.
Maybe it's for online purposes or something.
Uh,
I
See,
don't
there's
know.
always a catch.
But it's the same with Dying Light. Like, why do you have all those costumes?
Yeah. I never.
Although,
I don't know
I
how
mean,
people can. People
I don't
spend
mind
millions of
because
dollars in Call of Duty, and I'm like, bro,
yeah,
you literally can't see it.
yeah. Well, I don't mind Dying Light actually because I got the Dragon Ninja costume
Oh,
from getting to Legend 225. Um, and I got it, and the gloves on it you can see, and they actually look pretty cool. They kind of like red fingers with a black hand kind of
ooh.
thing. And
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that you can at least see the
of
gloves.
course,
You know.
when you're on the main menu screen, you know, and you're choosing, you know, between you you don't press continue, you just go to play game, and then you choose between campaign and then the following. You know, then it does that brief thing where it shows you kind of the front of your guy, and then Dragon Ninja has this kind of mask on him, and it just covers like from the nose down, but it looks really cool the way it
Okay.
looks, and that's why I keep using it. I mean, I did for a time. I just kind of changed for the heck of it, but Dragon Ninja is the one I kind of like the most.
I'll have to try that next time I play it.
But you have to get to Legend 225 to unlock it first.
Oh boy.
Um, it's one, yeah. There's about I think 10 Legend skill costumes, and I think the last one is Rice.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool actually.
But yeah, so but I just yeah, but back to Dead Island 2. Yeah, I got the there's a big. I also got this kind of big. It almost looks like a big Bowie knife, and called the old man or something,
Okay.
and it's kind of acts more like a machete than a knife because of its size. But
Well, they tried,
yeah, but
I
and then
guess.
there's a couple of weapons I don't really need because I have weapons similar to them already. Like there's one that's kind of like pink claws, but I've got regular claws and they look just fine with how I have them, so I don't need pink ones.
That's true.
Not that I'm against the color cuz I wear a pink t-shirt sometimes to church,
Uh
so
huh.
and you know, like usually I associate pink with, you know, good flavors like bubblegum or strawberry. I don't think about it being a gender thing,
Yeah. I think of the Barbie movie.
but oh yeah. Next time I wear a pink T-shirt, I'll be thinking of the Barbie movie and like,
Thinking of
this is
Margot
how they
Robbie.
dress. This is how they dress in that movie. Just keep that in mind,
Yeah,
people.
right. I'm being authentic to the source material.
Don't worry though. I won't turn plastic and suddenly just have this expression on my face the rest of my life.
Well, that's good.
You know. But
Can you imagine, dude? That'd be a cool creepypasta like online. People could make up like, I went to see the Barbie movie and now I'm a doll.
well, I probably won't see it, but
I'm not.
feel
Yeah.
free. But
No, I'm not seeing
yeah,
it, but
so
maybe one
yeah.
day, but not today.
So Yeah, I got Amy's. Forget what they're called. They have names to them, but there's one that's a katana and one that's a wakazaki.
Wakazaki. Huh.
Yeah, it's like a katana, but it's one-handed. It's
Okay.
smaller. Yeah, but
That's still cool though.
yeah, I've modded them already and I use them. So
And they
it'll
work?
be cool. Otherwise, I'm gonna throw them away.
Yeah.
But
That is cool
any
though. I mean,
topics
look,
you got?
I gotta play it again one of these
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Well, the DLC is supposed to be like actual like expansion pass stuff. Supposed to be
Oh.
coming out Q4 of this year.
Wow, okay, so a little while to wait here.
Yeah, and the next is supposed to be Q2 of next year.
Jeez. Well, at least they're
Yeah,
like supporting it, they're not like letting it die out or something.
yeah.
They have a
Um,
plan.
but yeah, hopefully they have some pretty good stuff. Like they're supposed to be it's supposed to be new locations and new variants and weapons of course, but I hope they are, not over the top, overpowered kind of variants. 'Cause
I don't think so. I mean, who knows? I have no clue.
mutators are really a pain in Dead Island 2, as are the butchers. And then there's ones in Dying Light that are overpowered too, like the volatiles. Like it's bad enough they can just get you from, like they can climb stuff, but when they can't reach you, they spit acid at you, and it's like that's not fair. Like I'm far away from you, fair and square. There's no fair reason you should be able to do that to me from way over here.
But alas, they get you.
Yeah.
What are you gonna
But
do?
I remember I was playing Dying Light once, a few months ago. It was actually before Dead Island 2 came out, and I was playing it, and I was purposely just kind of volatile hunting in the
Hmm.
slums. And one part, I was low on health, trying to climb up a building, and a guy spit on me, and I died just as I was going up the building.
Oh man.
And um, yesterday I was playing in the following, and it's trying to get this one costume found, and you have to do a whole bunch of running around the following to get it. And I got a alien gun unlocked too, apparently.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, like literally, it literally looks like an alien gun. Like it's not.
Is that? And I'm sorry, that's DLC or is that part of the? Oh, right. Yes, the following.
Yeah, it's part of the following. You have to go around find these 15 mysterious stones or whatever they're called. And there's a safe zone near the dam that you go to the top level, and then there's this spot on the floor that it kind of looks like a lit up skill tree almost.
Jeez, I don't
And
remember that.
you put the stones down on there once you have all 15 of them, and then at nighttime you go to it, and then you have to interact with it, and then this UFO shows up and shines a light inside, and then once you walk into the light, it kind of teleports you like into the middle of a field far away from where you were,
And
and
that
it's
sounds
at
awesome.
nighttime.
How did I not know about
Yeah.
this?
Well, I didn't know about it either until I started looking for the rest of these costumes.
Huh?
'Cause I was initially just trying to get, like at the start of the following where you're at that high up area. I was
Yeah.
initially just trying to go back to there just for the heck of it, and then I read that somebody was trying to get a costume that was up there, and I decided I'd go check, and then I decided to look on the Wicca website after I got it, and I'm like to see what other costumes might be lurking around the following, and then I came across this one called Stargazer, and that's the one I had to do all this stuff with to get. And at first, when you get teleported into the middle of a field at night, and then all your stuff is gone except for your UV light, and
Oh,
like you have to find a stash to get it back. It's returned to your stash, but the real pain when you're in the middle of nowhere at night and you have volatiles looking all over the place for you.
yeah, I'd say
Um,
so.
but fortunately, unlike I had to look at a video to find out how to do all this because I I wouldn't know where to start looking for these darn stones if the guy didn't show. Um,
I wouldn't either.
but but yeah, I didn't use the gun yet. I just saw him use it, and it looks like it kind of you shoot a zombie, and it makes a kind of explosion. That if other zombies are nearby, it kind of triggers smaller explosions on them or something.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And almost it looks like kind of a cross between a water gun and the ray gun from Black Ops.
Oh, well, that's cool then. I like that design.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. I'll have to record some gameplay of it.
Yeah, for the next
Not
podcast, because I want to see that.
next podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll have to record for that too then. I already got gameplay recorded with some Japanese or Chinese weapons.
Hmm.
That was before. Like I'm kind of one of those people that likes to record long, well in advance for the next two podcasts.
Oh, okay, I
So
got it.
that
So you're filming like a lot of it. I got you.
yeah. So the stuff I recorded recently is for our next podcast. So that was before I even got this alien thing. It's got a really weird name, so I just call it the alien gun. Got a
Works for me.
really complicated, really complicated name.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you get the costume anyway, the Stargazer costume. I don't know if you did the David and Goliath Freaks of Nature thing.
Hmm. If I did, I don't remember.
Yeah, well, there's kind of a big wall at the far south of the following map, the countryside. There's this big kind of wall that you can't go past,
Hmm.
and the far if you go to the far kind of southeast corner of the map itself, there's a small island, and there's freaks of nature called David and Goliath. David is a goon. Goliath is a viral.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, just a little kind of northeast of there, underwater. There's the crashed UFO that picked you up earlier. You go there, and then there's a compartment that opens up, and then you get the blueprints for the gun.
Uh-huh.
That you actually start off with it when you teleport onto the field, and then you get the blueprints for the ammo of it. But
I
you
hope
only get
everyone's taking
5.
notes.
Yeah, I hope so too, because
Yeah.
I don't want to repeat myself.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm not. So
it,
someone write this down. No, I'm kidding.
well,
Don't do
that's
that.
fine. It's your head in the game, not mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of you get the blueprints for the ammo, and you start off with 5 already for the gun. Um, and I think you can have up to 15 things because I kept after I got my stuff back, I tried to make the ammo for it, so I was at max, and I only could make 10 plus the 5 that's in the clip already.
Right.
So but yeah, then in the UFO, you get the blueprint for the gun itself, even though you already have the gun on you. In case, I guess, if you want to make a second one and want to give it to somebody who doesn't want to spend all that time. Actually, I could do that with you if you didn't want to waste all the time looking for the thing.
That's true. Yeah, it's actually a good idea.
We could just play in the following or wherever, and I could just make it now that I have the blueprint and give it to you.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Although, although I don't know if you might still want to do it yourself because you don't want to constantly go to me for ammo, would you?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind, but I mean, I got so much stuff to do in Elden Ring, but once I get through this, I'll definitely, because I want to get that. I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, but what I'll do is I'll link the video that I watched in the chat here, so you kind of
Okay.
know where the stones are all located. Because I didn't know where they were. I had to watch the guy's thing, and didn't even know about this until I was starting to look for these darn costumes.
Well, I don't know. I didn't know about it until today, so that's actually great.
Yeah. But yeah, there's the one costume I was trying to get. Well, I wasn't even looking for it until I learned about it. Um, up at the start, it's called I forget what it was called. I think it's like "Don't Say It" or something costume or whatever.
Hmm.
But forget what it's called, but it's basically in the cave where you start off. Like you start off in the pipe thing, and then you go to a little cave before you get out into the wide open, you know, above the wilderness area.
Uh,
And there's a dead body inside the cave there that you have to examine or inspect. And then when he rolls over, the costume is just lying under the body.
huh.
And so, but yeah, that's what I did yesterday. And I decided to go for all the remaining costumes. There's apparently 11 collectible ones plus the 3 that you earn
Okay.
like as you do the story, like there's the one where you have like that mask on and stuff. And there's just a bunch of others that are it's basically just Kyle wearing a different t-shirt in each of them.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
That
just wanted
works.
them for the heck of collecting them. I wasn't going to wear them unless
Right.
one of them looked cool, but they're all just t-shirts with slightly different things on them, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
But
entirely worth it, but
it was worth it with the one to get all of a sudden learn about that stuff. And the process of getting the stones, I even learned of it where there's also a buggy camo located too. So
huh.
good thing I did it when I did because I didn't know there was that thing laying around either.
Yeah, yeah. The more you know, right? It's cool because like these old games, you think you did everything, and then it's like, nope.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you don't even care if you did everything. You just kind of, you know, and then you suddenly decide I want to try to do this. Then you learn. Then you suddenly learn about these other things. Like, well, while I'm here, might as well check this out. And then,
Yeah,
sure enough, you feel like, well, now that I found this, maybe I'll just try to find the others. And then all of a sudden, it sends you on this goose chase that has a
and
whole
then
bunch
it's
of
midnight, and
rewards
you're
to
like,
it.
oh,
Oh no, it wasn't midnight for me. It was actually I was trying to avoid combat as much as I could, except when I was doing the stone thing. I was on top of a water tower, and just as I grabbed the stone, a demolisher appeared out of nowhere, threw a rock at me, knocked me off, and I died.
poop.
And I swore for the first time in a long time
Oh,
at that because I was just like, and then I spawned close to where it was, but of course the demolisher wasn't there after that, so I couldn't get revenge on him.
sounds like a rough. But
Well,
you got him right in the end. You did beat him.
yeah, yeah, I got the stones, and apparently apparently you can do it at nighttime, and when you do it, the stones glow, so it's easier to spot them. But I don't do nighttime unless I'm volatile hunting
Yeah, I don't
because
like to do that either. Too much.
I don't want to be volatile hunted, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either.
But not to mention all the walkers that suddenly turn into virals when you go past them. And you have not just volatiles, but night walkers as they're called coming at you, and, you get basically raped to death by them.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't sound too fun. Not gonna lie.
But
But speaking of something that's fun, oh boy, I do want to talk about Indiana Jones for a little
yeah,
bit. My PC's about to die, so I don't know how
yeah,
long I'm gonna last. But roughly, if you guys, or if we're pushing on what, an hour, I can't even, hour
hour
15. Jesus,
15.
yeah, oof.
It's fine.
Yeah. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe if you're new. Again, I'm going to have his link down below in the description. We are now talking briefly because I don't want to die on me here, but Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny spoilers. If you have not seen the movie, I highly suggest you do. But if you haven't, obviously, spoiler alert. So if you guys haven't seen it, make sure to leave. I don't want to ruin it for you. And hey, the movie's making like no money, so please go support it in theaters. But thank you guys. We'll see you in the next video. But quickly, what are your thoughts on Dial of Destiny here? Spoiler wise, at least, specifically the ending.
Yeah. Um. Oh, I kind of spoiled myself early. It wasn't intentional or anything. It just kind of came across this thing about Karen Allen, and that's when
Mm,
I learned that she was in the movie. Um, didn't read the scene or anything. I was actually trying to avoid any article I saw with the title in it because I didn't want to risk, you know,
I did too.
spoilers. But like not even just the comments, but in the article itself. Um, but I thought the ending was pretty decent. I mean, apparently Karen Allen was hoping her role would have been more bigger,
Right.
and Spielberg was still apparently directing um, before Mangold came on scene. Um, Apparently, Karen Allen's role was going to be bigger,
Hmm.
and Mangold and some new writers came on and then reduced it to what we saw.
Yeah. I
And
don't know. I kind of like it though. I mean, I think it's. I think
yeah,
the whole ending is beautiful in my opinion, but I mean, it's really good. I
uh,
think it's the best way to
I
end
like
Indiana Jones. I think, but
I like the scene where Indy talks about Mutt.
yeah,
It's obviously it's sad, but I
I
like it in
teared
the
up for
sense
the
that
first time.
I like it in the sense that Helena hears about it and suddenly like this is before that guy gets shot, Antonio Banderas. So she obviously hasn't laughed at that yet, but you can see it in her face, like she's sort of seeing not so much just a guy that she's known all her life that's kind of getting in her way about things and stuff, but she sees this damaged guy that he's hurting,
Yeah,
and it's not a joking matter to hear that his son, that Mutt went to fight in Vietnam and was killed,
yeah.
and
I was very
he
sad
wished
when that happened because I like
and
Mutt.
he
I think he's a good character.
wishes that wishes he could go back and stop him, you know, and then his marriage would be more intact.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I liked that. Like like when that kid handcuffs that big guy underwater.
Oh, Teddy. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, it's kind of, you think you're
brutal.
so tough. I dare you to fight the water.
Yeah, right.
Handcuffed to a grate underneath at that. Um, but yeah, I thought it was the ending was kind of interesting too. How Marion does what Indy did in Raiders when he was all banged up in the ship.
Hmm.
And Marion kind of does that to him this time.
Yeah, I like. It's not
Not
fan service though because
obviously she's not damaged like he was in that movie, but she's kind of just minding him like, we may have lost our son, but we still, it shouldn't stop us from, loving each other kind
uh
of
huh.
thing.
I think it's really powerful when she asks what hurt and he says everything that kind or she says that. I think it's really cool. And then I think that last shot of him grabbing the hat, that's cool because
Yeah.
it doesn't mean oh there's another one coming. This is the last one. But I like that it signifies that he hasn't like him kissing Marion is him owning up to the present and not
Yeah.
wanting to live in the past, and then him grabbing the hat is symbolic of him acknowledging the past. I think it's really cool that at least he didn't die. At least he got to
Yeah.
it
There
was
is
a happy
that.
ending.
But yeah, it was, you know, and yeah, the opening was kind of interesting because Um, see that guy that played in Winter Soldier um, as kind of the general in this film. Baron Strucker, Winter
Baron
Soldier.
Strucker.
No, not Winter Soldier. Age of Ultron. Oh, he was in a Winter Soldier in the post-credit scene.
Who are you talking? Are you talking about Voller? Because he was
Oh,
Mads
not
Mikkelsen.
Voller. Not Voller. The other guy in Age of Ultron, he was Baron Strucker in the beginning.
Hmm. I
His
kind of.
name's
I mean, I know who
in
you're talking about. I don't really
yeah.
remember.
I don't know what his name is Thomas something.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, it was interesting seeing him and then seeing Zola not be evil for a change. Um, Although he still goes crazy, I guess, apparently later down the road in the film.
Hmm.
Um, which we don't see entirely, but we know what
What do you
happens.
do?
Yeah, but yeah, it was interesting seeing that, and it was. I liked the part where Sala shows up. And the guys recognizes Indy, and then Sala just knocks him out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah. I thought Sala was in it a lot more than I thought he was gonna be, which was cool. I thought he was just like, give him hell, Indiana Jones, and then that's it. But he actually played a pretty important role, I think.
Yeah, and I thought I was kind of hoping he would do even more than he did, but sometimes we can't get what we hope for. I guess we just gotta accept it. But
Yeah.
it was nice to still see him, and was kind of expecting to see that guy from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull who replaced Marcus Brody.
Oh
Um,
yeah, he was. I think that guy was in Harry Potter. He was Professor
yeah, well,
Slughorn.
yeah, and I was kind of hoping to see him, but we didn't. But yeah, the oh, what's that one scene? Um, on the boat, uh, or no, underwater, and like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess the eels are kind of the way Mangold's way of putting snakes in the movie.
Yeah, because even Teddy's like, oh, they're like snakes, and he's like, no, they're not.
and
I thought that was
he's
funny.
just kind of, and then he's just kind of, these aren't the electric eels from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. So
Yeah,
he's just
they're not gonna
paralyzed.
turn you blue.
He's just paralyzed from his snake phobia. You know, he's not moving because they're too much like snakes for him to be able to. And he's surrounded by them.
Right.
So
It'll probably fix the gap in his teeth or something.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I still liked it. I'm not hating on it. It's just some things I feel like they did too much of. Other things I kind of wish they did more of. And then other
That's fair.
things I wish they just included. But overall, it was a pretty decent film.
Hmm.
Um, I just again probably my biggest negative aside from the chases is just the Paramount thing
Yeah.
they didn't do this time for the last one of all movies.
Yeah, it baffles me. I
Actually,
don't understand
the
it.
last Indiana Jones, they don't do it. Like did Mangold really watch all four of them before he did this one, or did he just skip that part and go straight to the more important parts or something?
Yeah, he went straight to the credits for all four. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I'll make a
but
fifth one. But I'm just
yeah,
glad he
so
didn't die because
yeah,
that was. I mean, if he did die, I wouldn't be that mad because he's 80. But I mean, it's like at least give him a good send off.
yeah.
I don't want him like shot in the head or something off screen. So thankfully,
No, well, even just dying would have been kind of bad because I mean, it's what everybody was expecting. They were expecting him to die, and then Helena takes over as the
I
new
know that's what I was nervous about.
Indy Nana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jonesetta. I would have been pissed
Um,
off though if she grabbed the hat and the whip. Oh man. See, that would have been what.
Yeah.
Thankfully, this movie wasn't woke for anyone who's somehow listening to this and hasn't seen it. I was very
Yeah.
worried, but it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Definitely be getting it when it comes out, and so yeah, I guess we'll also make sure to watch the bonus features because I'm a sucker for that too.
Yeah, I will too for sure.
'Cause, they'll no doubt feature at say talking about how it's the last one, and maybe in his interview, one of the interview clips, during the featurette, Harrison will actually get sort of teary eyed because apparently he was quite emotional being his last Indiana Jones. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. He cried at the
I don't see
Cannes
him.
studio or whatever.
Yeah, I don't see him being able to hold back tears even in the interview for the featurette either,
Yeah,
talking about it because it's like unlike Han Solo, who was actually more of a side character because Luke was the main character in the original trilogy, and then Rey was the one in that one.
hmm,
And Han was more of a secondary character,
right.
helping the primary, but still, this is Harrison's gem. This is Harrison's jewel of his career. Just like you know, um, yeah, it's just like Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia. That's
Right.
kind of her gem, and who else?
Mark Hamill,
Um,
Luke. I mean, you can go Deadpool,
Robert
Iron
Downey
Man.
Jr. Yeah, like, all those actors that we've seen in these franchises playing these roles, like those roles are their gems.
Yeah,
Han Solo maybe also Harrison's gem, but it's more of a ruby, whereas Indiana
yeah.
Jones is a diamond,
Uh huh.
sort of thing.
I don't.
So,
I'll never understand why he doesn't like Han Solo, but anyway, um,
well, it's
that's
not that
another.
he doesn't like him, but apparently he just wanted his character to have a real purpose in the movie because he apparently felt in Empire Strikes Back that he didn't. There wasn't any like responsibility for the character by that point in the trilogy or something.
I mean, he's got a
So
point, but
he
he
just
did have a
because
purpose
he
in the
wanted his
sequels. But
character. Yeah, he wanted his character to have more weight to him
uh
than
huh.
and stuff, and so that's why he's kind of he wasn't wanting Han Solo to die. He just thought he should die,
It's like
sort of thing.
tell him to go read the comic books, then he'll get it.
Yeah. So
There's so much lore that Harrison doesn't even, know or care about probably. But if he really wants to, I mean, I'm not saying Han's the deepest character in Star Wars, not even close. But
yeah,
that would help a little bit at least if he actually cared to read that stuff. But
yeah. But anyway, I think we should call it quits here. It's almost an hour and a half.
oof, it was fun though.
Yeah, we definitely have to continue this as I've still got two topics. One was Guardians Volume 3 to
Oh,
continue
we can do
talking
that one
about.
next time for sure. That'll be cool.
Yeah. And then also Avatar Way of the Water or The Way of Water.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think a lot of people called it Way of the Water, but
yeah. Or like people called the Rise of Skywalker Rise of the Skywalker. I was like, bro,
yeah.
come on.
Phantom of the Menace.
Yeah, right. Force of the Awakens. But anyway,
The
I'll have a
Revenge of
link
Sith,
for
whatever.
Recon's channel down in the description down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you guys made it all the way, thank you.
I'll be doing
Hopefully,
the
I
same
can.
with franchise. I'll have his page in my link or in the
Awesome.
description, not my link. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, that's it. In fact, my internet went out, so I really do have to go. Discord's
Yeah.
gonna poop off. But hope you guys enjoyed. Again, dude, I had a lot of fun, and then we'll do another one
Yeah.
shortly. And next time we'll talk about Guardians 3 and some other good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds
all right, hope you
good.
guys enjoyed. Thank you guys, and we'll
So.
see you in the next video.